born in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you, now, are you from, now remind me, are you from Argentina or Colombia?
I'm from Brazil.
Brazil. Okay. Not even.
Yeah.
Okay. I messed
I
that
become
up.
an author in Australia, English second language. And I just try to show women that everything is possible.
Yes.
And I become an Australian author, having English as a second language, still learning.
Yeah. No, I hear that a lot. A lot of people say, oh, I can't do what you're doing because English is my second language. I was like, it is my second language too. Yeah. So
that's the best thing. It show that you have more than one language, and you can articulate, and you can inspire people. And
absolutely,
even if I'm doing some public speaking or some some speaking gigs, which I have been doing for TAFE and for other places. Not much. I wish I have more, because I want to become a paid public speaker, not free one.
Yeah. No worries, it'll get there, right? It'll get there. There's just a lot of things that the universe is still lining up for you, but it'll get there.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I want to travel more with my daughter and inspire the other communities, bring some awareness, some education, using my skills to other women and kids, because I'm very focusing women and kids and next generation. That I really believe education is the weapon that we have to bring our next generation to a better level of relationships and achievements.
Yeah. That's one thing that I like about this generation, is that we know that what happens during our childhood actually has a profound impact on us towards adulthood. And so, I'm perfectly fine with it, because the generation before us just doesn't know any better, and it's fine. Right. And that's why I honestly believe that generations moving forward will be a lot more heart-centered.
Yeah. That's right. So that's right. I launched a new business here in Gold Coast. I became a nutritional therapist, and I launched a business called Cells to Wellness, Healthy Cells, Healthy Life. And the Cells to Wellness is committed to provide the latest technology and science related to cellular communication and to using redox molecules, which is the latest biochemistry discovery in the world after penicillin. And epigenetic hair analysis that I do as well. So epigenetic, I was doing. It's a machine that I have, epigenetic technology machine from German, and I basically get your hair, the follicle of your hair have so much information and your DNA there. So I can that machine can read all of this, send to German. The German computers can generate information and send to me in 15 minutes. And so then I send you 3 months nutritional report to help your body to receive the elements that's missing.
Wow. Oh, yeah. That sounds so scientific.
Sounds so scientific.
Sounds so scientific. Yeah.
But I'm still doing my work with domestic violence, which this is my mission, and I'm now connected with Rotary. Rotary International and Rotary Gold Coast. So Rotary Gold Coast is one of the biggest Rotary clubs here in Queensland. Okay. And I am vocational director for them. And now just yesterday I was invited to become the membership director for next year.
Wow.
So yesterday I was in a meeting with the community service director for Rotary, and I asked them to start a domestic violence program. And I have a dream about that as well. I had a dream the other day, which is a land with houses, but it's not going to be like a normal woman refuge where you go for 3 months. Here in Australia is you go to women refuge for 3 months and then they find you another house. No, it's going to be a 1 year place for family to go with the kids, for mom to go with the kids. about 12 houses to start, but as a community, with community service there for training. So it's going to be a training, it's going to be a safety net for them to leave their house. So we start with the safety basic needs for them. And then they're going to have one year training with business for kids, business for the mom, entrepreneurship programs, and other mindset. And
wow. So now let's circle back. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, I gotta acknowledge you. When I first met you, you were still, like you were still recovering from your situation, and you were already out there helping another lady get out of her situation. And that's what really drew me to you, and that's why I really, after that, I was just like, yep, she's my friend. I'm like, wow, this woman is just really serving from the heart. And so tell me a little bit about, and we never got around to actually hearing your story. You actually telling me your story. So share that with us. So from there, right? Like, so how was it? Like, what was your story before you got out of your situation?
You mean from the beginning, from before, from like before I was aware, right? So my story started with a nice, beautiful honeymoon and two people in love. And for me, he was the prince and the perfect person to spend the rest of my life, and would be a nice father for the long time, for my kids. And I always wanted to be a mom, always had a heart to be a mom, and God gave me Jojo. Thanks God for that. So it started like that. And but really at the beginning, I couldn't see that before, because I wasn't educated. I wasn't aware of the signs, the red signs that you can see before you get married. If you have education, if you have information, if so I was very naive about that. I never had experience, even heard this word domestic violence before. So when I started to feel like, oh, this is not right, I don't think this is right, and then the blaming, the guilty, the manipulation, the abuse, the words, the joking, or everything like started to be more escalating. Like it was escalating. And then at some point it was out of control. It was like not livable anymore. And that's when I was like, oh, maybe he needs some help, So I started to like, okay, let's find for help, for counseling, couple counseling, something like that. So when I was in that search to be able to find some help, then I faced myself with the domestic violence, what it is, and what is included, and what's part of that. So I was so lucky that I was connected with a community service inside my city, and I connected with the ladies there, and they educated me. They showed me PowerPoints, they showed me statistics, they showed me scientific things. They told me about narcissist abuse, they told me about how abusers work, how the psychotic mental. Also, I started to be informed about that, and what's happened when we are in that situation. And I was, tick off, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And so, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, I am in there. So that's okay, next step. I'm very like, when I have something in my life, I'm very like, okay, what is this? How can I get out of that? What's next step? Not stay there. Okay, how can I help myself or help with the situation? So then I started to do more research, be more connected. Connecting with the right people at the right time is the key to do the right moves in the right direction, because the abusers and the narcissists, they are very, very sneaky, and they are very smart.
Yeah.
So if you use your heart, and normally empaths people, they are connected with those narcissists. So if you let your heart go on top of your head, you're gonna lose the battle, and you're not gonna help your kids and yourself. So it's very the first battle, I think, for a woman is go between the heart and the mind, and be smart and work as that is a business, because if you don't, you're gonna lose the battle.
Yeah.
So because the opponent, the narcissist, the abuser, they are not using the heart.
No,
they don't care. They are using your heart against you. So that's how they win this battle, because they know of your kindness, they know of your you're willing to do good, and they use that against you and against your kids. So need to be very aware about that. If a woman can understand that, they can switch their mind and okay, now I need to work smartly here. It's not about, oh, but I'm a family. Oh, but I'm love. Oh, but I'm connected. Oh, but it is. Oh, but how sad is this? Oh, no. If your mind is more smart and you are well connected with the right people, you can go through this. And you're going to see that your life after that, other side of the bridge, will be so amazing and much more worthy than staying there. And as a result, you're going to give to your kids a much better lovely environment and life for them and for the future, because then you are teaching them the right thing. So my experience was like going from fairy tale to a nightmare. But when I was in that nightmare, I decided to do something about it. And it wasn't easy. It was very hard. And I know that statistics say that a woman, that when she's trying to leave the cycle of abuse, she is likely to come back to the abuser about 7 times until she's able to leave forever. So I was aware of that in my first time that I left. So I told myself, I will not be one of that statistics. So I decided to give one chance, knowing about that. And almost 1 year, 8 months after I left the first time, I was still, okay, maybe he can change. But because I asked him to go to training, and he accepted everything. He said, oh no, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. He was going to be part of a program for men. I don't remember the names now. So he said he was doing everything and then I give up everything that I put in my life for me and Joanne, because we got apartment. I had furniture for the apartment. I was not, I was surviving and I was growing. And then I come back. She was 2.5, before 3 years old. Because when I left, she was 2 years old. And end of the year before Christmas, I come back home. And then in 3 months, he gave up all the courses that he was enrolled. He started to say that it was not for him, and the abuse started again. And I said, okay, I gave the chance to myself, to my family, to what I believe would be right. So that's it. I'm not going to stay longer here. And I decided to leave again for good. And the good part is that I will never have in my head something like, oh, but if I did, could that be different? Because I gave a chance for him to to grow himself and give support, because I believe everybody can have a chance, but some not. This is inside the subconscious, and is out of their power to move forward in a new pathway of mindset. So I left when she was 2. It was with the police. They came to my house. I was already looking for help. I was doing research. He was trying to read all my emails, and stalking me, and controlling and giving fear. Money is a very big issue, because all my money from Brazil, he took it, and then I was under his dependence for even $5. And he was controlling everything. Not food in the fridge. And one day I had a dinner for Joanne. He did ate her dinner and left a message. So things like that, that's so nasty, you know. It's like it's so sick.
Small thing.
Toxic. Toxic.
So one thing, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You go ahead.
No, and then so that's how I left the first time. The police came to my house. I called them, and that was my second call. More important is that when a social worker told me, if he does anything to you, you need to call the police and make a report. If you do that, next time it's better for you. Because many women, they do not do the report of smaller things. And when they go to do the big one, sometimes that goes against them because of the system. So you need to go by some, you know. So when he was doing stuff, I did 2 reports before. I went to the police station and I did 2 reports. He didn't know about reports. But I proved, and I did reports. And then when finally I caught police in my house, they took me out of the house with my daughter, took me to a woman refuge. And then my journey started of freedom. I was so happy to be out of house. And my daughter was like in a dream, because everything for her, I did in a good way, positive way. Oh, look at that. We're going to a nice house with friends and playground. And so for her, always is a good smoothly go, you know.
And she is aware. Like, I mean, she's grown now and she's able to understand these things. She's aware of these
she's aware of our story. It's part of who we are. It's our story, and she's proud of mom. She has been going to my book launches and things, and she understands what it is. And for her, she knows it's good for her future, because she will be able to make decisions between a nice boy for her life and what's not. I hope so. That's the goal.
You know, this is a conversation all the time between my dad and I. Not all the time, but we do talk about it frequently. Sometimes you're not even aware that you're in a situation. Right? They're not even aware. So what's the best way that we could help? Because you know, like humans, right? Like, you can't, when someone sees something a certain way, there's no amount of words, there's no amount of explanation that would change their mind. You know that, right? Like, everybody knows that. And so what's the best way to help someone that's just not seeing it, that they're in a position of that they are being abused? What's the best way to help them?
I think we cannot change people's mind, and it's not the goal. I think it's more about the woman got enough herself. Okay, I got enough of this, and there is something wrong with this, and find for help. Go to the police station if they are prepared for domestic violence, if they have a domestic violence program there, or a female police as well is important. I think they are more educated. Here in Australia is very big, the education, but community service is social worker, university that have perhaps domestic violence studies or in social work, in social science or things like that. Your doctor is share with your GP. I think the first time I shared it was with my GP. I was depressed, I was sad, I was sick, I was throwing out in the morning because of the energy around me and uncertain and the fear and what to do and what's gonna, because their attitudes is very unpredictable. They can be very nice 1 hour and very nasty the others. So so I was always trying to be out of home. But go to your GP, make a report to your GP, tell how you're feeling and what's going on in your house. Your GP will give you a referral to your closest community service or domestic violence service for you to speak to someone. It's all private, and I believe in Canada as well, it's all private. And there is the national line as well. You need to call the national line and make sure you are connected with people that can help you. And about friends, very important. I just, there is a list of safety strategies that's in my book that I can read as well a little bit later. Safety strategies to leave. But to be aware, we're still there, is start to share your feelings with your GP or your social worker or your community service in any domestic violence department close to you. And be aware that domestic violence is not just affecting you, it's affecting your kids, because if the mom is not okay, the kids will feel the energy. And the example and the model that that they are watching is toxic for them as well. How to treat the mom, how to treat a woman in the future. So things like that. But it's more about the women come to a point that, okay, this is not quite right. I need to share with someone. And don't keep up. Don't keep in, Don't keep in, because the situation just get escalated.
Yeah. So, obviously the theme of the podcast is vulnerability, and there is a certain amount of vulnerability to be there. There are certain things that you have to admit to yourself, right? I think that's very the first thing. Yeah. I think that's the very first step towards being okay in general, towards being happy, towards freedom, is being able to admit certain things to yourself. And then once you start admitting to yourself, then there's certain things that you have to take responsibility for. And then that's when you start taking these tiny steps forward, right? Like, I mean, you won't, in your case, you won't be able to go to your GP, to your doctor, without being able to stand there in front of your doctor and admit certain things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, it's
you need to admit the vulnerability is so important. Because if you're not vulnerable to the right person, because you are already vulnerable to the abuser, so you must be vulnerable and show your vulnerability to the ones that will understand, listen to you, and help you to take steps towards to a better solution. So be vulnerable is very important to your communities around you. Use your community. One of the chapters of my book is just about community, how community help, and to be connected and vulnerable. I have like, proud will not help you. Fear of being exposed is not going to help you or your kids. Some moms say, oh yeah, but I'm not going to leave because of my children. Excuse me. Yes, you're going to leave because of your children. Because you love your children. So you need to be vulnerable to access information, to ask for help. Because if you don't ask, nobody knows. And if you don't ask, you can regret later. So being vulnerable is one of the biggest lessons for me. Because I had to expose myself to the right person to be able to receive the right answers.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's awesome. One thing that you keep mentioning, and one thing that you keep touching up on, and it's something that I hear all the time, especially in my I am Canadian by citizenship, but I am Filipino by ethnicity, right? And so a lot of things in the Filipino culture is that the mom or the dad does not want to leave the abuser because they want to keep the family whole. But at some point, wouldn't you agree, though, that it becomes more toxic when two people that are not, are together when they really should be apart?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally toxic for both of them, and especially for the kids.
Yeah.
If you love your kids so much, you want your kids to live and grow in a nice, loving, and inspiring environment, not in a toxic home that will just damage their mind, damage their future and the way they think and feel. So it's a proof of love to your kids if you go like, okay, this is a toxic environment, this marriage is not what I expected, this man is not able to really have a change because of his own problems, I'm not going to stay here for the rest of my life and expose my kids because of culture or because of what my parents expect of me or because of social rules.
Yeah. And guys, and for those that are listening to the podcast, a link to Luciane's book will be in the show notes. If you are watching the video from YouTube, it's in the description below. There will be a link there. Now tell us a little bit about your book. I think you I know we've discussed this before. It's showing, you said you have some guides there for certain things, first steps to take. So tell us a little
bit. Funny enough, the book called Touched by Love.
Yeah.
Turning crisis into a blessing.
Yeah.
So funny enough, we are in this COVID-19 time, with this coronavirus fear around.
Yeah.
And it's again, we are all globally turning crisis into a blessing. If you are aware of that.
Yeah, we are. As of recording, it's March 31st here on my side of the planet, on Luciane's side of the planet. I believe it's already April 1st. We are in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes.
And so, and now more than ever, I read a statistic that I know shelters, women's shelters and domestic abuse hotlines calls are higher than usual, higher than ever. Suicide rate in the US and in Canada is higher than normal. And that's because a lot of us are quarantined with their abusers. And that's unfortunate, right? And so we really, really encourage that everyone reach out for help. I know not a lot of doctors take appointments, but they do take phone calls. So yeah, I know my dad was on the phone with his doctor yesterday, so I know they do take phone calls.
In the domestic violence lines, there are lots of domestic violence lines, state, local, and national lines as well. So make sure you use that. Don't be trapped, and don't let yourself and your kids to be exposed to the danger. If you are in fear, if you have something in your belly, if you're not feeling safe, you need to reach for help, because the worst thing is to be quarantining with your abuser 24 hours at home. As it before, it was hard enough for women that still are living with the abuser and they could not find a way to leave yet, or they did not have the courage or the help that they need, or whatever it is that's holding them back yet. They are now quarantining with them, with the kids inside, out of school, but kids out of school, more at home. They are seeing, hearing, and watching more, and absorbing more, and the pressure is bigger. So I wrote here actually that I have some notes that I was thinking this morning. The correlation between COVID-19 and narcissistic abuse is so close, because it's something that you cannot control. It's something that take you in fear. So if the woman was in fear already, then now it's double, because it's the fear of the fear that she was feeling before in that relationship, plus the fear of now being more time with the abuser at home, plus the fear of the COVID, plus the threats, because these abusers, they are now threatening you, even with the COVID-19.
Yeah.
And some women that they left already, unfortunately, I have been receiving some reports that the abuser is using COVID-19 to take the kids from them and not give back because of the quarantine or whatever. So there is lots of things out there that is so cruel, and women need to step up and protect themselves and their kids before the worst happens.
Yeah, whether we like it or not, we are setting an example every single day, right? For our younger siblings, for our kids, we're always setting an example. They don't hear our words as loud as they see us. So I don't know how to word that properly, but I'm sure you get it. But yeah, so I forgot what I was going to ask, but so turning it into a blessing. So so how did you personally, how did things start to turn around for you after you got vulnerable, you started asking for help, and now you guys moved over, right? Like, and you said you have a lot of you're with the Rotary Club now, and that's amazing, right? And so so tell us about that, like the turning point, and then you started going into this into a blessing now. Your tragedy. I forgot. Your
crisis.
Crisis into a blessing. So tell us about that now.
Well, that goes. That's I think that about my mindset, because I worked a lot in my mindset last 8 years, especially last 6 years. Turning to a blessing is that if you are in crisis, you need to find the best way to use that crisis situation to grow. And so, like, we are now living the COVID-19 crisis. How can we turn this into a blessing? You can use another word if you want. Don't need to be a blessing. Like, how can you turn crisis into a gift or an opportunity, right? So there is opportunity everywhere. In the case of domestic violence, I turn a crisis, my crisis, into opportunity and into a blessing to my life. Why? Because I decided to make a change. I decided to change myself first. I decided to change my mindset. I decided that wasn't the kind of life that I want for me and my daughter, because we deserve more. Life is more than that. And I was willing to live the life as I believe life's supposed to be, and not as the abuser think that I should live under his control.
Wow.
So the blessing come after you make this decision. It comes like everything that's gonna happen in your life if you make your decision to step up as a woman being. And as a good model to your kids. So then, if you have, like, now we are in this COVID, you can have two views for this COVID. You can go through the conspiracy. Well, I don't think it's conspiracy, everything like China, I'm not gonna go to that point, because that
would be a whole. We'll be here for another 3 hours or so.
But you can have two views for this COVID. You can use as an opportunity and see as something, a blessing. Like, I'm home with my child. She always have been asking me to be homeschooled. Now she's being homeschooled. I am not as in this crazy out and about all the time. I have a calm life to do everything in my day in my house. I'm more connected with her. We were very connected before, but we are more playing games. I have more time to play games with her, even around my work and online things. But it's about seeing any crisis as an opportunity. Okay, what can I learn from that? What can I do to benefit myself and the situation in this crisis? and have a clear vision about what's going on and how can you get the most of that situation. So that comes from the crisis to a blessing, when you are able to, okay, I have this, it's not good, it doesn't look good, and what can I use to turn this into a better place for me in the future. So right now I'm using my skills that I use it in domestic violence for COVID-19.
Yeah.
Because I'm now looking like I'm launching a new business this week for my daughter, and I'm not gonna let anything stop us. Yeah. Of course, I will look after myself. I'm at home. I'm respecting the rules. I'm not gonna be out and about. But we are in a growth model, my daughter and I'm modeling for her that this is the opportunity to grow again. So let's grow from this situation. What can we do now that in the other side of the bridge, we're gonna be better when we get there?
Yeah.
So, so actually, I think I was so exposed to so much high level stress and high level crisis that when anything new comes, I just use the same strategy and try to get the best from there. Not always easy, because we are not always superwoman.
Yeah.
We have times to cry, feel it, let that feel, and then continue.
Yeah.
And step up.
That's the biggest thing. When you feel something, you gotta acknowledge it. A lot of us tend to push it down, and I like that when you said feel the feelings and then and then take a step forward. That's amazing. Now, sorry, I was gonna ask this earlier. This is the question that I forgot, so we're gonna circle back to it. So certain times, when I have a conversation with certain people, they tend to blame themselves for the abuse that they are receiving. If only if I didn't do this, then he would not have been so angry. He wouldn't have done this. If I only did this, then they take the blame. They take responsibility for the person, for the abuser.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
And I understand that that's not always the case. And no amount of no, it's not your fault, as a friend, right? As a friend, no amount of saying no, it's not your fault, they're not gonna hear it. Right? So is there anything that, obviously we can just say, oh no, Luciane, it's not your fault. We can't just go about that way. So what's the best way? Do we just be there for them and hear them out without saying anything, or
Yeah, I think the most important in this situation is never use the judgmental words. Be there for them, listen, and make sure they are comfortable. Make sure your friend is comfortable enough and safe enough to share her true feelings and true story with you, without being judged or scared or feel that you're because the worst thing is that when a friend will friends and families, sometimes they don't have the capacity, if they are not trained or if they didn't experience domestic violence themselves, to give advice to a domestic violence survivor, because they don't have the knowledge, they have no ability to know the silent and tricky and sneaky things that happen from the abuser, that sometimes is something that the victim cannot even explain in words, because it's so subtle that sometimes she say, yeah, but he was knocking me on the kitchen. Oh yeah, but he was playing with you. No, he wasn't. He was doing purpose to put me down, and he was saying this and saying that. So just the person who is in this situation, she feel it, she started to feel that. And to put in words sometimes is very hard. I remember that my first report, when I went to the women refuge, my my social worker was asking me some questions. She have actually to guide me to the answers, because I could not, but it wasn't too, like, I didn't want to be so harsh on him. Look at that. I didn't want to be so harsh and judgmental on him. Maybe he was upset that day. Maybe. So how much is that, that I didn't want to be wrong to a person. I want to be just fair. But by being just fair, sometimes we miss out signs and things that are there, but our heart does not, it wasn't too bad. Right? Should I report that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So because we feel sorry for the person.
Yeah. Wow.
So actually, when my social worker started, well, if he does that, did you feel like this? Yes, I did. Well, and did he did that and that? Yes, he did. So then call this name. So she was putting names on the behavior. And by putting names on the behavior, I could understand the difference. And then relate to that. And then, okay, that really was bad. Yeah. It wasn't like so lightly,
Yeah.
So, and there is a plan. Unfortunately, they have this plan that they know what they can do. Sometimes it's unconsciously, it's in their subconscious. Sometimes they are not even aware. Sometimes they are. So it all depends of the level of the abuse and what they are, which tools they are using, because there is different tools: psychology, emotional, financial, physical, and all of this is abuse. So it's not just physical. I'm from Brazil, South America, and I'm living in Australia for 14 years, almost 15 years. And in Brazil, things are different there. In Brazil, it's much like everybody blame the woman, like you are saying. But if he did that, maybe you said something that made him feel angry. No. Anger is your responsibility. Is your own responsibility. Nobody can make you feel angry if you have self-control. Nobody can have control on you. They have their self-control depending on their mindset. Because I say, even when I get sometimes upset with my daughter, she cannot make me feel angry. I feel angry. It's my responsibility because I'm being triggered by something that I cannot understand.
Yeah.
So the blaming game is the number one, because for them to feel good, they need you to feel bad and very low. So then they are empowered. Then they are up to you. They are up. They are the boss, and they are the king of the house. And more you are, maybe I should treat him better. Maybe I should do this. Maybe that. No. He's gonna be using this, and it's not your fault. And the only thing that will be your fault is that if you don't get responsibility for your life and for your kids.
Yes. Wow. That is awesome. So, we've been here for 51 minutes. Wow. It flew right by.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? We've been here for 51 minutes just chatting away. I love it. There's definitely more to dig into, but we'll do that on a part 2. We'll do another episode. I think this is our third go around now. So yeah, let's
won't be the last. Let's do a part 2. Yeah, I wrote something about the COVID as well.
Yeah.
So it's there is this guy called Jeff Vander. Jeff Vander, he's the CEO of Sourcing the Way. And he writes about the 5 gifts of this COVID-19. And it's related to domestic violence as well.
Yeah.
So slowing down frenetic humanity activity, Because when we are in domestic violence, you get to be so busy when you leave because you have so much to do. Activating networks of cooperation, so important. Upgrading humanity system. So when we leave domestic violence, you need to upgrade your mindset, your life, your expectation for you. And because women, when they leave, they are so down, they don't feel the worthy themselves, and they feel guilty for leaving. They feel guilty for everything. So guilty is not a word that can be part of your heart if you want to walk forward.
Yeah.
And creating the conditions for peace and well-being. Yeah. Creating the condition for peace and well-being. That's what we need when we are recreating ourselves, rebuilding ourselves, and rebuilding our life after any crisis.
Yeah.
It can be domestic violence, COVID-19, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever crisis.
Wow. That's amazing. So before we wrap this up, first things first, the things that I really got from your what you shared with us today is, first things first, work on your mindset. Number 2 is be vulnerable. Ask for help.
Ask for help.
That's the very first step, is ask for help.
Yeah.
And
be protective, because when the abuse, this is very important. When you start to ask for help and be aware, the abuser will be more abused. They will be more controlling. They will be in fear that you are awake or awakening. So that is the more danger moment in any domestic violence situation. So you need to make sure that your logins in your computer, because my ex-husband, he didn't have my passwords, but he could break down my computer, and he tried to use in court some emails that I was asking for help, and some planning that I had, and the court said no. But be aware, technology strategy, financial safety planning, safety planning to protect yourself inside the house, support strategy, legal strategy, and online safety strategy. So next time we can talk about shark cage as well. Is another training that's very good for women.
Yeah.
But when you decide to do something, feel safe. Get your passports and your children's passports hidden someone else's house, in a person that you trust. All your documentations, birth certificate, have a bag packed in someone else's house. Have connection, and protect your password, protect your phone, protect your emails, don't let him see anything. It must be a surprise, because if they catch you finding help, and they will be more controlling, it's going to be worse, and it's going to be danger. So be careful and be strategic. And this is your life, is the life of your kids, and is your future. And you need to take action and live the best life you can live. But you need to take action and be brave.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Thank you. I didn't even have to ask. I was going to say, give us a parting piece of guidance. You just did. That's amazing. Look at us. You know what? I got to be honest here. I am vibing really high from this conversation. I'm vibing extra high right now. And I normally, this is great.
Judith.
Yeah.
I'm feeling great as well. I hope people that are listening this can hear, can feel our energy and feel the energy of this conversation, and be connected with this. And oh my gosh, I wish all the best for women. I'm an advocate for women and kids. And so I hope my project for domestic violence with Rotary will be successful, and I soon can put together this training villa that I'm dreaming to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the best way to get in touch with you is what's the best way to get in touch with you for our listeners?
There is my website is in kind of construction, because I do by myself. So not everything is there, but my books are there, and I have other books there as well. Some information. There is a program about, there is a domestic violence, narcissist abuse program in my in my website as well, www.lucianesperling.com. We can put below. LucianeSperling. Luciane Sperling.
Luciane, okay.
That's my name.
All right.
Yeah.
Luciane Sperling. There you go.
.com. And there is also I am in Amazon. My book is in Amazon as well. If you can find Luciane Sperling author at Amazon. So I have 3 books there. And but this is my main book. The other 2 I'm just a co-author. Yeah. So this is the one is about domestic violence and all the strategies, and my story is in there to inspire the others, and yeah.
That's awesome.
And I have a page on Facebook called My Inner Light by Luciane Sperling.
That will be in the show notes, in the podcast show notes, and that will be in the description in the YouTube video as well. So yeah, Luciane, before we hop out, I gotta acknowledge you. You are you and I are great friends. I'm very grateful. I appreciate you. I appreciate that you are a stand for everyone, every woman that are in a abusive situation to be free, and we really, really appreciate the work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, darling. Thank you, Judy. You don't make me cry.
I know. I'm starting to get all emotional.
You are a gift for me as well. I hope Jojo and I can go to visit you in Canada, or you can come here to Australia one day. Thank you for everything you do, and your friendship is nice. It's very, very important to me. Thank you. I'm very grateful for our connection.
Hey, this is Judith Vergara. Thank you for watching this episode of Vulnerability. If you want to check out more episodes, please feel free to click here on the screen right now. There should be more episodes here. And as always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and please share this episode with someone you think it may help. As always, may all beings be happy and free. Thank you.